As we know, trying to understand our politicians' motives can be a complex matter because there are various factors that influence them. One of the biggest factors is who they receive funding from and how. This is also known as sponsorship bias. Also known as funding bias, sponsorship bias refers to the tendency of financial sponsors or donors to influence the political decisions made by elected officials. These sponsors or donors may help the politicians by funding their campaigns and in return have their policies endorsed by the politicians. In other fields other than politics, such as medicine, sponsorship bias is seen at play when researchers alter their studies' findings or conclusions due to the influence of for-profit or non-profit funders of the study. How does it happen? The main factor that contributes to sponsorship bias is money. In our political system, campaigns and political parties need a lot of money to carry out their plans and accomplish their objectives. They frequently resort to companies, organizations, or individuals who are able and willing to donate money to raise this cash. In return, these sponsors anticipate that these officials and political parties will represent their interests once they are elected. It's crucial to note that bias based on sponsorship can exist at all levels of government, from local to national. Due to the prevalence of anonymous donations permitted by campaign finance regulations, the sponsors in many circumstances may not even be known to the general public, which is actually what happens in most, if not all, cases. What is the effect of sponsorship bias? Funding bias creates a conflict of interest. It makes it difficult for politicians and political parties to strike a balance between their obligations to the general public and those to their financial backers. The effect is that the elected officials may endorse and implement policies that favor their donors instead of the public they were elected to serve. This creates a situation where the political system becomes corrupted and the public's voices are suppressed at the expense of the interests of the chosen few. How can we mitigate the negative effects of sponsorship bias? First and foremost, it's critical to remain knowledgeable about the sources of money used by politicians in their campaigns and during their terms in office. Public campaign financing reports are often where you may find information about campaign finances. Second, the public can elect officials who are open about where their money comes from and who have a history of prioritizing their constituents. By doing this, we ensure that the elected representatives answer to their constituents rather than to their backers. In conclusion, political sponsorship bias is a real issue that has the potential to distort the political system and undermine the representation of the public's interests, and thus significantly affect their lives. The electorate can contribute to ensuring that elected officials are making decisions that are best for the general public by supporting transparent politics and staying informed about the changing political trends in their country.